I have for you a cat. And some growling dogs. Welcome to Mythic Melancholy, where my camera is always stacked precariously on a bunch of books because I really need to get a functioning tripod. Today I have a special TBR for you, which is the Bookwanderer's Books and Lattes Spring TBR. Bookwanderers is an absolutely amazing book club ran by Celine from Stuff Celine Does, and it's honestly one of my favorite things that I am doing in the bookish community right now. We have a Discord, we buddy read way too many things, if I'm being honest. And there is a seasonal readathon, there are seasonal book club picks, there's lots of discussions, we hype each other up. It is such a great little community we have going there, and so I wanted to make a video talking about what I plan to read in spring for the spring readathon for that book club. Now, I do have multiple books picked out for most of these prompts, and I am going to briefly talk about all of them. Some of these are also ones that have already been in my March TBR because the readathon has just started, and obviously I started reading for it in March. So those books are my March TBR, as would make sense. First, we have Read a Book About a Book, or With a Story Within a Story, and for this I have The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this. It's about a woman who wrote a bunch of stories and wrote herself a bunch of alternate lives also, and then it sounds like maybe kind of gives Yeah? I'm sorry, am I boring you? It sounds like she gives an interview maybe on these stories and these lives she's lived or something. I'm not really sure. This is a book that, again, a few other people in the book club were reading, and I went, I have that. I'll read it too. Another book I have for that prompt is Pages & Co. The Lost Fairy Tales, which is the second in the Pages & Co. series. I read the first one quite some time ago, really enjoyed it, and just have not continued the series. So this felt like the perfect time to do so, because this is about a girl who works with her, I believe, grandparents, if I'm remembering correctly, in a magical bookstore. Well, I guess the bookstore itself isn't magical, but the books are magical, and she can basically go into these books and interact with these stories, and I actually don't remember exactly what happened in the first one, if I'm being honest, but I'm still excited for the second one, and hopefully I will read the rest of them in much quicker succession so I don't forget everything that happened. Moving on to the next prompt, which is plants on the cover, because it's springtime and hopefully we'll start seeing a bunch of plants soon, although it's probably not going to be for a while where I live. It's still snowing all the time here, so I hate winter. But I have a few books picked out for this prompt, the first of which is The Haunting of Las Lagrimas by W.M. Cleese. This is one that is on my March TBR right now. It is one I pulled from my Waypoint Books jar, and there are little flowers here. This basically follows a woman who goes to work as a garden caretaker for this Argentinian manor, and then spooky things happen. And I'm actually really excited to get to this one this month, so you'll hear about this one soon. Then I have The Dance Tree by Kieran Mulligan Hargrave, which has a tree on the cover. I don't actually know really much of anything about this. I just know that I've been wanting to read more from Kieran Mulligan Hargrave. I finished The Mercies last month, really loved it. I really enjoyed The Deathless Girls. I also want to read her middle grades, but this is her novel that she has out most recently, and I'm gonna read it. I do have a third book picked out for this prompt as well, which is The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro. This basically follows a woman who is haunted by a demon from Mexican folklore, finds out that all the women in her family have been haunted by this, so she has to, you know, kind of figure out what's going on there and not fall into darkness like the rest of her family has. The next prompt I only have one pick for, and that is a book that mentions lattes or any beverage. I'll be reading Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. I've actually already gotten a little bit into this one. I'm really enjoying it. It is a cozy fantasy with legends and lattes type vibes, and that is just really what I'm looking for right now, is those cozy fantasies with those same kind of vibes, because legends and lattes just sparked something within me that I now need to read cozy fantasies. This is also the book club pick for spring, so most of us will be reading this one over the spring, and it's just perfect. It's perfect for this readathon. It's perfect for the spring. It's everything that I want to read right now, and so if it's not good, I'm just gonna be real mad. The next prompt is female empowerment. I have My Eyes Are Up Here by Laura Zimmerman. This is also on my March TBR. This follows a young girl in high school who is dealing with having very large breasts and not being comfortable in her body with those, not really wanting to do a whole lot because of how uncomfortable she is in her own body, and this is a story of her kind of coming into her own. There's also a romance, and I'm actually, again, a little ways into this one and quite enjoying it as well. For that prompt, I also picked Lobizona by Romina Garber. This is one I've been meaning to get to for quite a while. This is an Argentinian werewolf story that also deals with undocumented immigration and deportation and things like that. This one, I think, is going to be very powerful as well as very interesting because the werewolfy aspects just sound really cool in here, and I have had this for quite some time, haven't gotten to it, and really need to, so that is why I stuck it in here on this TBR. I think it will have female empowerment just because we're following a female main character who has to deal with a lot of prejudice and things against her. The next prompt is about a quest. The first one I have for that is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I am buddy reading this with Celine and I think a couple other people in the Bookwanderers group. I have been wanting to get to this one for a long time. I have really gorgeous editions. Obviously, this is just a plain paperback edition because I'm not touching those because they will get ruined if I try to read them. Guaranteed. I don't trust myself. I don't trust my children. Not with a really fancy schmancy book anyway. So I have regular paperback copies to actually read. And this basically follows the last people to survive on a dying Earth who have gone off and trying to find somewhere else to live. They find a planet that has previously been terraformed by ancient Earth people, and there's sentient alien spiders that live there. And I was sold at sentient alien spiders. So this is also one that is on my March TBR and I've already started reading and I'm already enjoying. Another one kind of along similar vibes is we have The Martian by Andy Weir, which I don't actually know totally what this follows. I just know that I read Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir last month, really enjoyed it, and I really want to read The Martian now. And I'm assuming there's some sort of sci-fi quest here. If not, well then I fucked up. But I'm gonna read it anyway. I also have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea on here. I don't remember what this one is about. I got this one closer to when it came out. I was really excited for it and I never got to it, as I tend to do. So I'm really excited to get to this one now. I am assuming this will have some, most books have some sort of quest in them, whether they're fantasies or not. You could classify most anything as some sort of quest, so I'm sure that this will. And this has a gorgeous cover and I don't remember what it's about, but I'm really excited to get to it. Then we have Found Family, which oddly enough is the one I struggled finding the most, but I decided to go with The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. This follows a sorority of witches, so I would assume that there's at least some found family elements in there. It's another one where I don't know a lot about it beyond that. I just know that there's a lot of these ravens on the cover and it intrigued me and I have it, and there should be found family aspects in it, so here it is. Then there's a book with green on the cover. I have A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher, which is a Southern Gothic about a woman who goes back to her childhood home to find that her mother is kind of skittish and afraid of everything there, and has to figure out what is going on. I have never read a T. Kingfisher book, but I've always wanted to, so this will be my first. Then I have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This I'm kind of hesitant to get into, honestly, because a lot of people really love this first one, but then don't like the sequels. I have heard a lot of hate for the sequels, so I'm like, do I even bother getting into the series? But I have the book. I'm still interested in reading it. The first one, everyone still really loves, so I'm excited and interested. This basically follows a girl who inherits a house and a lot of money, but all of the other family members are like, why did she get this house and all this stuff? And she doesn't really know anything about what's going on. So, you know, then they want the inheritance. This one's almost a little bit cheating, but I have Kill the Farm Boy by Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn. There's green. If you look, there's green, little green edging. It's mostly yellow, but there is a little green there. I just really want to read this one. I've had it for a little while now, and it sounds really fun. It sounds like a good spring read. It's basically a fantasy parody comedy about a chosen one, and it also says we're gonna need a bigger goat, which is obviously a play on we're gonna need a bigger boat, but goats, and I like goats. I don't know, this sounds really fun, and I don't think I've read like a comedy fantasy before, so I'm just really excited to get to this. Then we have a book with a mystery element. I've got a few for this one as well. First up is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. This I have needed to get to for so long. This is an indigenous mystery, I think maybe slightly fantasy-esque story. It's a thriller. I'm not sure. This is another one that I knew more about when I got it, which was quite some time ago, and now I don't remember. But I know that there is a lot of mystery in here. I know that this one people absolutely loved, and I am just excited to finally get to it. Then for that prompt, I also picked The Miracles of the Namiya General Store by Kiigo Higashino. This, I don't know a whole lot about either. I know that it's about delinquents who broke into this general store that isn't open. I don't know anymore, but apparently it has an advice box, and I don't know. Let's be real, I don't know, but I know that there's probably some kind of mystery here. I also have The Only Good Indians on here, which is another one on my March TBR. This is a indigenous horror novel. I've been wanting to read Stephen Graham Jones for a while. Obviously, as with most horror novels, there is some kind of mystery going on, so that is why I stuck this one here. I actually don't know a lot about the specific plot of this one. I just know that I wanted to read it for a while. This TBR is basically me being like, here's a book, I don't know what it's about, I'm gonna read it, ha ha ha. So I apologize for that. Then we have a book that you would like to be a part of. I decided to go with The Marvelers by Donielle Clayton. This is another on my March TBR. This is mainly because, honestly, any magical school story, I want to be there. I want to be at a magical school. I want a magical life where I go to a magical school. Am I too old for that now? Yes. Do I have children and could not leave and go to a magical school? Also yes. But I still like the idea of magical schools, and I would love to be in a world that has one. So that is why I stuck this into that slot. Last prompt is to read something sapphic, and I have this massive book, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, which just came out. It is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which Priory of the Orange Tree I absolutely adored. I might reread it after I read this, to be honest, even though that one is also truly massive. This one has at least one sapphic romance in it. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I actually have not looked into the specific plot of this beyond that I know that it's a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, and I'm so hyped to get to it. And my camera battery is dying, but I am done. That is all I have for you. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you're interested in any of these, whatever your thoughts are. I like to hear them. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more of my face, and I will see you in the next one.